Today's the day and age of nothing being original anymore. Pages of just remakes and reboots, and now the trend is moving to remasters with StarCraft and after that Command & Conquer. It's hard to say if these games are really worth buying. Are they genuine to their predecessors? Are they worth rebuying a game that you, like me, probably still own the original CD copy of? And, most importantly, as we've learned with the Warcraft 3 remaster, is the game fun? StarCraft Remastered is not only a huge step up in visual quality, it is also just a great looking game in general. The unit and building models are basically as good as it gets for an isometric 2D game. It's all being run on the original game engine as well, which is pretty interesting. The sprites do a relatively good job of fooling the eye to look like a 3D model, and all the textures are totally recreated from the ground up, as from the look of things. All the sprites and unit designs are very differentiating from the different races. It's very obvious how Terrans are humans, Protoss are some super advanced alien race, and the Zerg are basically just spicy bugs. Fortunately, the old dark and gritty visual theme is still overall intact. Plenty of sequels and remasters really lose track of what gave their game a distinct look. Look at StarCraft 2. But StarCraft Remastered keeps the theme overall dark and gritty of a murderous world. Colors overall are, however, a bit muted, and not very prevalent, but they really do sell their theme better, so maybe that was the whole plan from the get-go. It is also very interesting to me how they decided to add a zoom feature, and the overall quality of the sprites and textures actually hold up really well when zoomed in. Some of the units you can see like veins on the top of their heads and stuff like that. It's pretty detailed. Overall sound in the remaster seems to be pretty much remade from scratch, top to bottom, outside of the music, seeing as StarCraft came after the adoption of CDs, meaning that StarCraft came with CD quality music. This was a huge step forward over floppies and cartridges other games used. The soundtrack is, as it once was before, best in class. You gotta remember, StarCraft was competing with Command & Conquer at the time, with Frank Kaplacki at the head. That sets the bar incredibly high, and they did a great job holding up. Personally, I prefer the Terran music overall, but the soundtracks are, for the most part, some of the best in class. Sound effects are distinct and are almost all unique, outside of a very small handful of reused ones. Machine gun fire or stim packs will instantly make somebody know what's exactly happening, and these sound effects are all very high quality. Again, being attributed by that CD quality sound effects and music previously mentioned. Next for sound, voice acting. It's all super well done. Every unit and hero all have their own lines that are all unique and well made, and a lot of these were re-recorded, potentially, but I'm not sure, because they were already relatively high quality. Thanks again, Compact Disc. Now for a bit of discontent, dispute, and disagreement, the gameplay. On one side of the coin there is the #NoChanges crowd that is prevalent in basically every remaster or re-release, and on the other side is people who want a little bit of modernization to be a thing. For example, unit Ai and Pathfinding is completely unchanged. It's not a bug, it's a feature now. Some people like myself would really prefer to at least have the option to choose between, say, a new AI or old for Pathfinding. Seeing as the unit AI is very 1999, it regularly gets stuck on stuff and this essentially has to be handheld to proceed. Unit groups, just like before, are only a max of 12. Personally, I do not like this. Not even a Command & Conquer issue at the time. Their games all never had this problem. Rally points on command centers, nexuses, and hatcheries onto minerals don't set workers to automatically mine. And on top of that, getting the right number of workers on a field is kind of difficult. StarCraft 2, on the other hand, this worked, and it had an idiot alert basically on top of all the main centers that showed how many workers you were needing. Now, all of this was for the #NoChanges crowd and the esports crowd, and personally, I understand why people would feel this way. My suggestion would be to have an option to pick whichever you want. That way the tournament guys could keep it the way they want it. And the people who are like me are not a legend at RTS games or games in general don't have to slam 6 to 7 control groups with an attack move just to get people going. Overall though, it plays great. I did it once before in '99, I'll do it again. It definitely keeps the same feel overall. The most important part to me of StarCraft is the campaign, and a lot of it is totally redone. In between each missions, characters will give a briefing, and to my knowledge, outside of the sound and voice lines, everything else has been redone. Each person got like new updated character portraits, and overall it's just higher resolution. Sometimes there's new artwork that will fill in the gaps in between each mission with words over them, and a lot of this is actually pulled from physical books that came with like the, I guess, collector's edition that I personally still have. The actual story and its events, however, remain unchanged. There's no retconning or anything, and I believe this was the right decision to make. Now, there were some FMVs or full motion videos that came with the original release of the game, and they've been updated some. It almost looks like they were AI upscaled, but kind of poorly. The overall quality difference really isn't that big of a change. Look at Command & Conquer's remastered example. They have an absolute light switch in change in quality of their FMVs. Sure, the StarCraft ones are definitely higher resolution, but I feel they could have done more here. Either way, they're better. It's not that big of a deal. It's just Blizzard is known for having some of the absolute top-notch quality cinematics, and these, they don't fit that bill. Now, the multiplayer scene is going to be the biggest part for a lot of people. A newly introduced ELO, or matchmaking system with a rank, was honestly what most people could agree upon a good change, even if you're part of the #NoChanges crowd. Now, with the no changes gameplay, the multiplayer is still extremely similar, just at a much higher fidelity, but fortunately, the crazy custom games still work, and that was pretty much what I did in multiplayer, and people are still making them, apparently. StarCraft Remastered is, for the most part, how a remaster should be done. It keeps the old, but it looks better. I do still wish that they would have the better unit pathfinding and selecting more than 12 units, or at the least letting you choose between the two. But StarCraft Remastered was not a simple asset flip. They very easily could have ported the game into the StarCraft 2 game engine, or even pulled assets from StarCraft 2 or Heroes of the Storm, and very easily could have gotten away with it. But this isn't what happened. Visually, this was a remake from the ground up, and I believe it was the right decision to make. It still keeps the old. I would have loved to have some of the modern conveniences of modern RTS, but Blizzard did make the right decision on this one because the game is still relatively good. I still don't understand how they went so wrong on Warcraft 3. Maybe a lot of people forgot how bad Warcraft 3 is as a game and just remembered the great storytelling and cinematics. Regardless, StarCraft is fully worth its price tag, especially now that it's remastered, whether you've played it or not. You now at least have the option to play it on a modern PC. Getting these games to work on a modern computer can actually be kind of difficult. I challenge you, go play Warcraft 2 on a computer that's not DOS. Good luck. Even on DOSBox, it's like pages.
Captain, we are being hailed by the Dominion flagship NORAD 3.
Well now, I don't know which militia y'all are from, but I advise you to back down, now. I'm General Edmund Duke of the Dominion Armada, and in the name of Emperor Mengsk, I order you to surrender your forces immediately and unconditionally.
Ah, General Duke. I expected your forces to arrive sooner. You should know that we represent not one of your ragtag peasant militias, but the combined might of the United Earth Directorate.
Earth Directorate? You mean to tell me you've come all the way out here from Earth?
That is correct, General. We're here to take control over this sector and its occupants for the betterment of mankind.
Over my dead body. I don't care where you're from, son. No one pushes around the Terran Dominion on my watch. All units, fire at will.
As always, thank you for watching. If you like the video or not, you know what to do. Anyways, I'm going through a bit of a learning process with each video release to try to understand better how to write and structure each one, while at the same time trying to keep it at least a little bit interesting. So if you have any comments or suggestions, please comment below. I would like any feedback, good or bad. I promise at the very least I will read your comments.